Hi guys, this is Carrie here with a how to DIY bamboo bundle sticks. Now bundle sticks are a great way to vary the sounds and textures you can make on your drum set. This particular bundle stick is made with bamboo. I saw this version at a music store the other day and thought, hey, $35, not well spent, I can make that for a lot less. Some features of this build are a 3/4 inch black cap at the end of the butt end stick. I used a shrink wrap tubing to make the grip look a little bit more professional. And the only variation of this from the original stick in the store is that I use a nylon rope instead of a foam rubber core in my bundle. In terms of materials you're going to need for this build, I used a 5/16 hardwood dowel. You could go up to 1/2 inch depending on the diameter of the stick you want to make. I used some bamboo, I got in 4-foot lengths, some electrician's tape, and some rubber washers. Basic tools needed: saw, utility knife, measuring tape, hammer, and some sandpaper or sanding block. To start off, I measured a favorite drumstick. This one was about 17 inches. This will determine the length of the core or dowel stick in the middle. In order to leave about 5 inches of bamboo material at the end, I measured my dowel to be 12 inches. 12 plus 5 is 17, making up the overall length. Then I used a saw and I cut the length of the dowel and used some sandpaper or the sanding block to sand it off just to smooth off the edges. Now that I've got the core for my stick, it's time to focus on the bamboo, which is actually going to make up the hot rod part of the stick or the dowels. I cut right at one of the ribs or spines, I don't know what they're called on the bamboo, so that my hand grip and the end of the stick wouldn't have a short or weird nub that bamboo is sectioned off like that. And then from that cut I measured that 17 inches. That was the full total length of the stick that I wanted. I marked it obviously with a pencil, and then I cut it with a saw. This next picture shows the process which I used to split the bamboo into quarters. I just used a utility knife and a hammer, and I found the halfway point, kind of eyeballed it, and was using just a bit of force to push that knife through. This is what I used to split the dowel once down the middle, then those other two halves. That gives the bundle some different pieces, making it a bundle stick rather than just a bamboo rod. Now this next step is probably the most time consuming of the whole build. I used a utility knife to cut out those little ribs or spines within the bamboo, just to hollow out a space so that when I fit the dowel in there, the dowel would sit snugly. Like I said, the dowel is only 12 inches and these total sticks are 17 inches. That means the 5 inches on the end will be filled with another material. The professional ones I saw used a foam rubber type material, but I thought a nylon rope might last longer and would give me a little bit more weight at the end of the stick. Also in this picture you see the butt end caps I used. Those were just a 3/4 inch plastic cap I got at the hardware store. You could also use furniture leg caps from the dollar store if you found them. And that's the heat shrink tubing. The internal diameter of the heat shrink tubing I used, just while we're looking at it, was 1 inch heat shrink tubing, and that seemed to work great. I cut and sealed the end of the rope so it didn't fray, and here you can see me using electrician's tape to attach that rope to the end of the 12-inch dowel. That rope again is 5 inches, the dowel is 12 inches, making up the total length of the stick 17 inches. I really pushed the tape on there hard and overlapped it to make sure that it was affixed there really snugly and firmly, taped it off, and it held on really well. The next step of this build is to put the dowel core into the middle of the bundle stick. I used a bit of hot glue gun here to build up that core and put the bamboo pieces around the rod. So the 12 inches of dowel is the handle part, and down at the tip where you're getting the kind of bundly stick sound is being filled with that rope, just so you have a bit more weight and a little bit more of a center there. I'm just fastening these, tacking them in place and making sure that the butt end of the stick is all even and square at the bottom there. Now to start finishing off the stick here, I wrap it like I would a hockey stick with electrician's tape. Now if you just wanted to make these things for almost pennies, you could very well finish this stick off. It looks great if you do a good job taping, overlap about half inch of the tape going all the way down, and just rolling until you get a handle length that you like. I just kind of adjusting the rope there so it sits in the middle as I make the grip. It still looked really good this way, but I thought it would look a little bit more professional if I used a heat shrink grip, which you see there in my other hand. I'm just using the other stick to measure the grip so that they're the same length, and cut it on a 45 because it looks pro. Here I'm using a little hot glue gun and that plastic 3/4 inch cap to snugly squeeze onto the bottom. Gives it a nice finished look on the end there. Now these could be very well done. You could slide your rubber washer on the end to adjust the looseness or tightness of your bundle, and that would be a great stick. But this final step I think makes it a little bit more pro. Here's that heat shrink tubing used with a 1-inch internal diameter. I cut it to 9 inches or just inside the grip, and just enough so it covered that butt end of the stick. Now you could butt it up to the plastic cap there, but I covered the plastic cap on mine. I think it just looked a little bit more professional, and it didn't leave a ridge there for my hand where that plastic cap might pop off. I figured it would hold on a little bit easier. Now, heat shrink tubing. I didn't have a heat gun. Guess what? Your kettle works just as well at home. This is a little hack I figured out, and this will shrink that tubing nice and firm around that stick and give you a nice grip. Now, lastly, to finish up the bundle and to give a bit of adjustment on the bundle end, I have a rubber washer. I got a whole bunch of them from the dollar store for $2.49. If you get them from the hardware store, they're a little bit more expensive. But it's a really nice washer, and it's almost the exact same as my hot rods or plastic ones. I use a little bit of black tape, electrician's tape, to finish off the top end where the grip meets the handle. I think it looks really professional. It looks really good. There I am finishing off that end there. Cut it on a 45 because it looks pro. And the plastic has been a great little bundle. I'm going to try this with bamboo, with rattan. I may try it with some plastic dowels and just other materials I find. This whole build maybe cost $1.50 a stick. Maybe goes up to $2 a stick if you include the $7 heat shrink wrapping. I got that at electronic supply store. The rest of the stuff I got from a dollar store from around my house. And there you go, some pro-looking bamboo bundle sticks with a variable end. This was a great little build and really was a 50th of the cost of a real pair. Enjoy, and watch out for my other videos. Subscribe.